All right, hold up, you're in the right place. I know last week it was fitness, this week it's motorcycles, but you are in the right place. This is Mike Turner, your friendly filmmaker, and this week I'm answering a viewer question all about getting started in the wedding videography business. And please make sure you stay to the very end of the video because there is a little surprise, and just so you know, I'm okay. Stay right there, you're gonna wanna see this. That was my first time riding that motorcycle. I am a new motorcycle rider. I took the MSF course about 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. I registered the bike, bought the bike, registered the bike, insured the bike, and now I'm on the road. So that's my first ride on the motorcycle, and it was most terrifying in traffic. And my neighborhood is not even all that busy, but I was still terrified. So now, here I am in a parking lot at a school. The bike's over there, just resting. And I gotta get myself back home, and I'm wondering how the hell am I gonna do that? But we'll figure that out later. Before we start the episode, I just wanna give a shout out to Cycle Cruiser, CBR 1000 RR. Anyway, thank you, Cycle Cruiser. You're one of the reasons I bought a motorcycle. I watch your channel and see how much fun you're having, and I want to have some of that fun too. And I also wanna give a shout out to Sean from SRK Cycles and Bike and Beards. Those are two different channels, SRK Cycles and then Bike and Beards. Two separate channels that Sean is on. And again, just watching his videos and all the information he gives about motorcycles, it's awesome. So that's one of the reasons that I'm on two wheels right now. So thank you guys. I'll put links to their channels down below if you want to check them out. Great motorcycle channels. But anyway, like I said, this is not a motorcycle channel. This is a channel all about cameras, camera reviews, tutorials, and just me answering viewer questions. And today I had a good question from, oh snap, I forgot, it's not on that piece of paper, it's on my phone. And of course my phone is in my jacket all the way over there. All right, so let me go get my phone. Here we go. So this question comes from LeGrand. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's a cool name, LeGrand. I'm gonna change my name from Michael to LeBillion. No, I'm just playing. But anyway, let's see your question. I've been watching your videos and I really have learned a lot and enjoy them. My 16-year-old son wants to get into filming weddings here in South Carolina, and I would like to help him get started and help him with the process. You said on your video that you have used equipment for sale on your website. This is not the real main question, but yes. For you that want used equipment, www.mediahammock.com/used. Every now and then I have some of my gear on there that I'm not using anymore for good prices, so you can always check that out. It's kind of a hidden link, so you're not going to see it from the main mediahammock.com page because that's like a wedding page. But it's like a hidden thing. So mediahammock.com/used if you're interested. But anyway, do you have any pointers on equipment or advice on getting started? Thanks ahead for any help you can provide. So that's the main crux of this thing is what's some advice for getting started out in weddings? So here we go. Now I actually wrote some notes and I'll just get those out here. My arm is actually starting to hurt. By the way, I'm shooting this with the Osmo 4K Pocket today. And the audio is being provided by the Tascam 10L, DR10L. That's what the audio is coming from. A lot of you guys always ask what equipment I shot the videos with. It's always down in the description, so you could just look there, but now you know. Osmo 4K and the Tascam, and also the Yi 4K. Is getting the helmet footage, you know, while I'm riding the bike. Just so you know. Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna say my first bit of advice to you is, you know, start small when you're shooting a wedding. Like don't try to like take a wedding that is, you know, like 300 people in some like grand mansion, like the mayor's mansion or something, and you're shooting for the mayor of your town. Don't do anything crazy. Not that you would get that gig, but don't do anything crazy because you might overwhelm yourself and turn yourself off to it. Start small. My suggestion is reach out to a friend, a relative who's getting married, and just say, hey, can I shoot your wedding? And here's the kicker too, in starting small, do it for free. Once you start charging, you're gonna add another layer of nervousness. And if this is new for you, you don't wanna do that. You wanna be cool, calm, collected, and you'll do so by not really charging any money. Now, I'm not talking about doing it for free forever. I only did one for free, and then after that I was charging. So do whatever you feel comfortable with. I mean, if you're already a shooter and you know you're a good shooter and you're solid, you got skills, then maybe you do charge a little something, but don't charge like your full price yet. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Make sure before you shoot, talk to them and say, hey, can I use this footage on my website, on my social media to promote myself? Because some people don't like you to use their stuff to promote, believe it or not. I've had clients that don't want their stuff out there in the public. You know, they might have jobs where they just, for whatever reason, they don't want that out there. So be clear about that and say, hey, I'm gonna shoot your wedding, but I would like to use the footage. That's very important to me. And make sure they agree. And even maybe sign a contract as well. Even though it's free, I think you should still have a contract and put some terms in it to say, you agree to let me use your footage for promotional purposes on the internet in these places, okay? The next tip is to ask them if they will give you a review at the conclusion of the wedding and the product that you give them. After you finish the video, you give it to them, you deliver the video, ask them to give you a review. Let them know up front that you want that in return for doing it for free. I want to use your footage for promotional purposes and I would like a review. Try to get the review on Google reviews, you know, Facebook reviews. The Knot and Wedding Wire are great. Yes, to advertise on there, you can pay money. I pay for the Knot and Wedding Wire, but there are free accounts too where you can just put your reviews. And a lot of couples go to the Knot and Wedding Wire. So even if you're not paying for advertising yet, it might be a good idea to get some reviews on those platforms so that people can find you. You might not have to ask them to put it in all, 4 or 5 places, but I would say, put one on the Knot, say, hey, can you put it on the Knot and can you put it on Google? And if you don't have a Google review page, Google it and figure out how to set that up for your company. I think that would be very good for you. The next piece of advice I have for you, and this is not a 100% thing that you need to do, but you might want to think about creating a website if you don't already have one. It just makes you look more legitimate when they go to look you up. Being that you're just starting, you might not have a website because you don't have any samples of your work yet. So that's fine, but that's just something for the future. It's just a suggestion. After you get that first one done, maybe even your second one, definitely think about getting a website if you don't already have one. And now let's get into the main thing I'm sure that you want advice on, and that's gear, right? Because everybody wants to get the gear, which is important. You need gear to shoot. My suggestion to you is, don't go crazy investing in like the new Canon R5, $3,000 something, especially if you don't even know if you want to do this. I wouldn't get like the most high-end equipment yet. So there's tons of camera options out there. I've reviewed a lot of stuff on my channel, but I'll give you a few recommendations. I used to own the G85, Panasonic G85, not a very expensive camera, great image stabilization, great image quality, weather sealed, great battery life, and there's no record limits with it. So if you're shooting like a long ceremony, it's really nice to be able to just shoot and not have to stop shooting. So my recommendation would be something like a G85. You get it with the kit lens, the 12 to 60 millimeter lens, very inexpensive. I think it's like 700 new. It's about 500 used with that kit lens, not expensive at all. And then maybe I would also purchase that 25 millimeter 1.7 lens, which you can get used for $100, $80 all day long, pretty cheap. You put those two together, you should be able to get some really, really good footage. That's one recommendation. Other than that, I would say Sony a6400, which you guys know I have and have reviewed on this channel. A bit more money than the G85, It has better picture profiles in it. You know, you can shoot log and stuff if you want to color grade, HDR modes and all that stuff. Both cameras shoot in 4K, of course. The only additional thing, the major additional thing that the Sony has over the G85 is excellent autofocus. And I know some people don't like using autofocus, but I use it a lot. And on the A6400, it is amazing. So if you're into autofocus, you might want to look at the A6400. You're going to pay a little bit more money for that. About $900 new. I think that's without a lens. It's just $900 just for the body. So if you want a lens, I think you're going to be up in like $1,200 range. Maybe with that, you might want to look at the 18 to 135 lens just starting out. Not great in low light or anything, but the camera itself is already good in low light. So you can get away with the 18 to 135. I've used it indoors and everything, and it's a great range. You got a nice close, you can zoom in nice and close, you can zoom out, get a wide shot. It's a really nice range. Now, if you really want to be frugal, you could look at something like the Panasonic G7, 4K, 1080, really nice image quality. You know, doesn't have the image stabilization in it. The low light performance is not as good as the G85 or the A6400, but it still is good. And that camera, man, you could get it for about 400 bucks used, just the body. And then if you want to get some lenses and stuff like that from eBay mixed in with the body, you might pay like $500, $550, $600, depending on what lenses it comes with. It's a really good deal. I probably would start with, you know, maybe the G85. That would probably be the one I would get, but you know, you could do what you want. I like G85 because it's small, it's light, fits easy in a bag. You know, I prefer camcorders, but if I'm just starting out and my budget's tight, I probably wouldn't get into a cinema camera. That's just me. Next thing you're gonna want to look into is audio, right? So for audio, I would suggest what I'm using right now, this Tascam. Oh man, hopefully you can hear me. It was kind of pointing a little oddly. You could use the Tascam DR10L. This is great for putting it on your groom or officiant during the ceremony. For your speeches, you're not gonna take the mic and keep putting it on whoever's speaking because that will be annoying. So what I would do, if you could only afford one audio recorder, you get this, and then for the reception, you just put it near a speaker and just hit record and put it on auto mode and just let it record from the speaker directly. That might do okay. If your budget's a little bit bigger, you can afford it. I would look at the what is it, the DR60? DR40, excuse me, DR40. The DR40 is like the recorder that you can plug into like a DJ's mixer, or you know, you could take a lead, an XLR lead from a speaker and plug it directly into the recorder. You're gonna want to use one of those. It does great for picking up sound from the reception. You just go to the DJ and say, hey, I need a feed. You know, you give them a XLR cable or a 1/4-inch cable, and he'll hook you up. That's what I would do. So if you can, get both of those. Get one DR10L or two. Doesn't hurt to have two. And excuse me, a DR40. You're really gonna need. It's better to have both, but if you can only get one, get the DR10L. You're gonna need something to stabilize your shots. What I would suggest is, if I was shooting solo and I was only gonna be using one camera to start off with, I would probably get a monopod. And I've actually done a video on a monopod that I use, the Siri, I don't know how you pronounce it, but check that out. I'm actually gonna be doing a new video about that coming up soon. Just because the old video I did was so old, it doesn't fit the style of my channel anymore, so I was gonna redo that. But look out for that. I'll be doing a new video on that. There's already videos about the audio equipment that I mentioned. I did a whole, maybe I've done 2 videos on audio for weddings. I'll go ahead and link to those below. I'll probably put a card up there or something so you can see those. I would say eventually you're probably going to want a tripod as well. When I shoot with 2 cameras. So I usually have a camera set up on a tripod, getting a wide shot during the reception and the ceremony. And then I have my monopod and a camera on the monopod that's always with me. And I'm roaming around with that, getting shots while I'm getting the safety shot with that second camera. So that's something that you might want to do as well. The very first video that I did on this channel was about the tripods that I use, and I still use them 3-4 years later, still have them. So the Davis & Sanford Pro Vista 18, I believe, that's what I use. Great tripod, not super expensive. It's not gonna break, not at all. Nice smooth pans and tilts. It's a nice tripod to start off with. And I guess for editing, you know, depending on your budget, I edit with Adobe Premiere. You can edit with whatever you want. I don't know if you're using Mac, you're using PC, maybe you already have an editing software you like. I just use Premiere, and I'm starting to use DaVinci Resolve, which is free and is really, really good. So take a look at those two if you don't know what to edit in. And anyway, thanks for your question. I really appreciate it. Hopefully that helps you out. For those who haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this. And the next one, we'll be talking about the FilWorld F6 monitor and some updates that came to that a while ago. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. And we're also going to be talking about that monopod eventually too. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, make sure you don't miss anything. I'm going to try to ride myself home without crashing. I should have never said that. I'm not gonna crash. I'll see you again, hopefully. No. Anyway, I'm Mike Turner. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon.